Welcome back to the fourth episode of Church Coach. I am your host, Abe, with my co-host, JP, because we naming names. And Manuel, because he's part of the group now. And then that other chick over there.
Yeah.
Whatever her name is.
Hi. We'll call her Rib.
Rib. So yes, we're back. I guess we're starting off
with a kick, with a punch.
with a bang, obviously, because we're talking about prophetic words and what
and hauntings, apparently.
hauntings, ghosts, demons,
Are
Maybe-
ghosts real?
maybe aliens.
Maybe. Oh, y'all should. Y'all don't worry about that. Yeah.
What kinds?
Your
The
time
ones
to
in
shine,
space or
Manuel.
the ones
Well,
across the border?
hold on. We're gonna get through it methodically here.
That aliens podcast would be a 2 or 3 episode part.
For real.
We'll touch on it, but we'll leave that one for next time. But we'll
Maybe gonna
start.
come with a PowerPoint next time.
We'll start with if anybody JP already started with
What do
a
y'all
ghost
think
story, a demon
about-
story, a spirit story. But I guess since this is the start of the podcast now, can you retell the story one more time?
So in the previous episodes, I've been mentioning this church that we've been going to, and the pastora, her ministry is like freedom, liberation from like spirits, demons, stuff like that. And every time she prays for people, she gets prophetic word from God. Some people take it to heart. Others are like me, take it with a grain of salt. You gotta wait for confirmation. I don't always believe what she's telling me. Don't get me wrong, she's giving me some good prophetic words like you're gonna get your dream job or whatever, or you're gonna be so financially stable or blah blah blah. And someone hears that, they're like, oh dang, I'm cool. But recently she's been giving me some prophetic words, like one was about my car. She prayed for it and it's literally haunted.
And about your uncle
Yeah.
connected to that.
Yeah.
You should share that.
So a couple weeks back, I had a dream that I was walking out of my house, and where I usually park my car, I had a dream that there was skulls from the trunk all the way to the hood of the car on top. And so I started freaking out. I'm like, who put skulls on my car? What the heck? And so then my uncle comes up talking in this weird voice. It was the body of him, but it wasn't him. It's the best way I could put it. And he said, I'm not done destroying your family yet. So I never told the pastora. I told my family, but not the pastora. She prayed for the car, right? She's like, you need to get rid of this car. Basically, it's haunted. Basically, God showed me that if I never prayed for this car, you would have had a major accident. You would have died. So then after that, I tell her the dream, and she's like, it's starting to make sense because that car had your death in it. So you need to get rid of it.
And that she saw skulls.
Yeah, because in the dream, it was on literally from the hood on the top. It was like it was like about 8 or 9 skulls in a row. And when she was praying for the car, she started going around. She's like, I felt basically the espíritu de muerte around the car. And that was before I told her about the dream. No one told her about the dream. So what do y'all think about prophetic word like that? Because she's told me some personal stuff. Literally. She's told me some personal stuff that I haven't told anybody about. But she's told me, she's like, you're feeling like this, and this is going on. Like one time she was praying for me. She's like, you've been having this health issue that you haven't told anybody about, but it's really worrying you. And I'm like, yeah, I haven't told anybody. But yet she told me.
Yeah.
So what do y'all think?
I thought it was gonna be easier. This is gonna be more harder.
Yeah. I mean, it's easy to get into the, you're gonna be rich, you're gonna have the job you want. Yeah, amen. But when she's like telling you health issues, that your stuff is haunted, it's like
You gotta fix stuff.
you gotta, yeah.
Well, I don't know. That's pretty good.
Do you believe it?
I don't know, dude. It's like when she tells me, I'm like, I'll believe it. But there's times where she's been praying for me, and she gives me prophetic word, and mentally I'm like, I'm not really believing this. And then as she's praying, she's like, the Lord's telling me you're not believing. You need to believe. As I'm not believing myself. So I'm like, could this be real? You know?
Tell them about your uncle, about the fruit and stuff.
Oh, yeah. So the other day she was praying for me and she's like, basically, you're embrujado. Someone put witchcraft on you through fruit.
And they
And-
live in that house.
And they live in that house. She's like, basically, someone in your house is turning on candles to the Santa Muerte to wish for your death. And every time she's gone, from the first day she's gone, before she even really prayed for me or started ministering for me, the first day she walked into that house, she's like, there are some candles in this house. Something isn't right in this house. So then the other day we were having a team dinner, and I asked her, like, hey, do you feel anything weird in the house? She's like, oh, brother, yes. She's like, there's a lot in that house.
No, there is.
And I'm like, why? She's like, it goes back to someone in that house is doing brujeria. They're turning on candles to the Santa Muerte in that house. Every time, we don't know where they're at, and we think this is where we're all iffy. I'm like, is she just making this up? Because it's me, my grandma, my aunt. We all go to church. My uncle, he's a possible suspect. My other cousin that lives there, that's an alien. He's another possible suspect. But I really don't see him the one to be doing all that.
Yeah.
So it's like, do we believe her on that part? Do we not? What do y'all think?
Have you checked the trash can?
Yeah, like obvious things.
And you know what's funny is that she says that she feels the spirit strongest. One, upstairs. But two, she says there's something evil buried in the house right under my studio. So I'm like, of course it'd be right under my studio with my look.
Did you tell them about the frame that fell?
Dude, the frame. Oh my God. So it was like a day or two before we were leaving to Hawaii. I was getting some stuff settled in the studio. And then I was all the way at the end of the kitchen, you know where the window's at? So I was looking forward at the door, and there's this shelf. The frame's, mind you, is sitting in the middle of the shelf, like right where that board's at. There was no wind, no nothing. And if it was like, if someone forcefully pushed the frame from the back, pushed it forward, it went.
Picture frame?
A picture frame, yeah. It went about 4 or 5 feet. This is the frame, right? It goes 4 or 5 feet, literally stops for a couple like a quick second, faces down, slams the ground hard.
Bro.
Dude, that's like, look, I'm getting chills just talking about it. It's like,
But you saw it yourself.
I
do that.
saw it myself, yes.
So you were facing from your kitchen to the door.
It's like whatever evil spirit did that, it meant for me to see it.
Oh, so they wanted you to see
They
it.
wanted me to see it,
Gotcha.
yes.
To scare you, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
Oh, God.
Yeah, I get that.
And I can't sleep in my car either because apparently my car is more haunted than my house.
Yeah, basically. Should probably move into the back of over there by his Freddy's place already.
I'm gonna have the pastora go over there because with my luck, it's something.
Oh,
No,
yes, please.
no, I really do need her to go because this is where like the prophetic and where dreams come in. Maybe that's another topic for later. But I had a dream that white men and white girls. How did Emma say it? But I had a dream. I had a dream.
Oh.
But I had a dream that towards the back of Freddy's, there was the wall of Freddy's, right, where he had all his, like, his overstock and stuff. The wall. And behind, there was some brujeria candles and a Santa Muerte altar.
Okay.
Behind that is the apartment. So I had a dream that basically whoever was living there at the time was doing witchcraft to my uncle so his business wouldn't succeed. And at the time, his business was shot. Like, he was literally about to sell the place. Like, nothing was going on. Like, he could make $4,000 in cash sales, but something will come up the next day like, hey, this overdue bill that was hiding, it's a $4,000 bill. Whatever came in, went out.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. What do y'all think?
Well,
Family's haunted.
well,
It is.
obviously something is trying to stop you.
Yeah.
So whatever, it's what do they say? If you don't have enemies or if nobody hates you, you're doing something wrong.
Yeah, like if you're not under the enemy's radar.
Right.
Yeah.
What are you
Yeah,
doing?
because if
That's true.
he didn't bother you, then that means you're with him.
Yeah.
'Cause
you're
he's
doing
not
something
gonna-
wrong.
He's not gonna detour his foot soldiers or whatever, or people that are already with him. So it makes sense that he would do that.
Oh, and this one other thing.
Yeah.
That Monday when she was praying, she's like, "You've been seeing shadows lately, huh? Like out of the corner of your eye and stuff." I'm like, "Yeah, like it's this house is crazy, so I see him all the time. It's just like, hey, shadow, what's up?" Something like that. And then she's like, "No, those shadows, it's the Santa Muerte after you." So she's like, "Next time you see that, you gotta get like down and dirty with the spiritual warfare." So I'm like, "Great." And literally, she's told me some stuff because she's like, "The Lord's showing me that you've applied for a number of jobs that you should have gotten, but you have not gotten them, like for dumb reasons." And it's true.
Oh, okay. So back to the same thing that it's something's trying to hold you back.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, that's crazy.
I don't know.
Well, I guess that means I'm with the devil because I haven't had any of that stuff.
So,
No.
Oh, wow.
I think everybody has different problems.
Yeah, no,
I
I'm just kidding. I'm
Okay,
just
I
kidding.
would be like,
Well, that's the end of the photo report. Like,
I think everybody has their own issues. Cause imagine if everybody had this, everything is just like, how is anybody gonna survive?
Yeah, you get bad in a different way.
Yeah.
and I told the pastora, like, I'm more scared of the haunting stuff going in the house because I can't see it, and then opposed to having someone break in, because at least if someone breaks in, I'm able to see it and they'll meet Mr. Hollow Point
Yeah.
right then and there.
Right.
But with the haunting, it's like, it's the spiritual.
what do you shoot at?
We don't see it. What do I
Yeah.
shoot at?
Yeah. So it's probably obvious, but are you scared?
I'm not gonna lie, there is some fear, and I'm trying not to have as much fear because obviously we know that the devil feeds off of fear.
Yeah.
So it's, yeah, it's.
Did you say about the bullet hole upstairs?
Oh yeah.
There's so many things.
So.
And that guy at the airport.
Oh yeah.
I'm telling
Oh,
you.
I think you told me about the guy at the airport.
What?
I
Tell
think I
Manio.
did. I haven't
Tell
told
Oh,
Manio.
yeah,
Manio.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oh,
So-
start with that one.
With the
The-
bullet hole. Or?
No, in the airport.
So I'm at the body scanner, right? Things are going, passengers are flowing, they're being their usual self. This guy comes through. He has this off the bat. He gave me a weird vibe. His shirt had like a wrapper with an upside down cross. He had like 3 satanic necklaces on. He just looked weird, like something felt off.
Mm-hmm.
And then the scanner hits green. He's clear. He goes and he stops at me. He's like, he hasn't been able to reach you yet. He just walks off. And I'm like, well, obviously that's not God. Judging from his appearance, the satanic shirt, the satanic necklaces, he's obviously,
Yeah.
with the devil. And that was maybe 2 months before the pastora came and started like revealing stuff and, prophesying stuff.
Yeah.
So it's you asked me if I believe it. There's too, it's like the court of law. There's too much
Evidence.
evidence beyond a reasonable doubt not to believe it.
Yeah.
Even though I do have a slimmer of unbelief, there's too much evidence towards it.
Not the bullet.
Now the bullet.
The hole. You haven't found the bullet.
So it was crazy. So for the worship team practice, we had the first practice was at my house because we didn't have anything. So we practiced at night. Good practice, right? The next morning, or over
What
the
was
night,
that night?
it was at night. Yeah, that's what makes it worse. So that night, my grandma hears like a crash in the window, and she checks, nothing. I'm dead asleep, so I don't hear it.
Yeah.
And it's funny, right? Me with the gun doesn't hear anything, and she's out there checking for intruders. So she gets up and she's like, "Pablo," and I'm like, "Yeah." She's like, "Hay un balazo en la ventana," and I'm like, "What? There's no way." So I go up on the second story window. It's like where the landing's at, and it looks like a 45 went through the glass.
Damn.
But so for my little knowledge of forensics that I know, the trajectory of the bullet looked like it was going down. So which means the bullet had to be shot at a higher angle, at a high rise.
Mm-hmm.
And around us, it's just houses. There's nothing higher than us. So the bullet, if we would have been shot, the bullet should have come up that way. But it came down like this. And so ask me if we can find the bullet. Nothing. There's a bullet hole. There's a hole in the curtain where the bullet's at.
Mm-hmm.
But nothing. No bullet. No, nothing in the wall. It's like, how do you explain that?
Well, just right off the bat, it could be that someone is just shooting in the air and it lands in your house.
Yeah.
It could be that, but where's the bullet? That's my thing. Bullet has to go somewhere.
Yeah, you took hours, right, looking for it.
Yeah,
So the trajectory, like, did it land like on the floor?
no. So it was. I had a little laser, so I lasered it like they do in
Wow.
CSI. So it should have hit the wall, and right where the laser pointed at the wall, clean, nothing happened. And I'm like, okay, maybe it hit the floor. Nothing. Like it's a bullet. You would have seen something.
Like
You
it
know?
disappeared.
Were there something in the way that maybe caught it?
No,
And then maybe your grandma
the only
moved
thing
it?
that I think would be the curtain, but the curtain had a major hole in it, so the bullet went through it.
I still think it's a stray bullet, but
I mean, it could be because that's the only explanation.
yeah.
Because the bullet came down like this,
Besides God
Yeah.
shooting you.
or that too. Yeah.
I don't know. Damn.
So that's my crazy haunted life.
Damn.
Well, thanks so much for coming to this fourth episode.
The haunted report, apparently.
Yeah, I've never had anything like that happen.
You're
Us
lucky.
either.
You're
No.
lucky. And I don't mind it because, like you said, you know, it's obviously I'm doing something right. That the enemy's getting real mad that he's trying to,
Or something's coming.
Or
That's
something-
gonna be good. Or
yeah, that he's
Good
trying
for
to throw
you.
me off the scent. Because as Christians, the biggest thing that knocks us off of ministry or doing whatever is fear. Fear gets a grip on you, and you're done. Like, it can hold you. It can hold the strongest physical person. If they have fear, they're done. And that's all the enemy needs is just a little bit of fear is in your life. It's something crazy.
Do you think that God is letting it happen?
I mean, from what I've read in the Bible, everything comes from God, good and bad. I mean, look at Job.
yeah.
Satan had to go to God and ask for permission. And so the one thing that I'm holding on to that really isn't scaring me is that God said you can touch everything in his life, all the earthly things, just don't kill him.
Yeah.
You're Job.
I'm Juan.
Hope.
I'm Hope.
Good job.
Crazy stuff, huh?
So, do you think it sounds like you believe the pastora?
I mean, would you?
I'm a very skeptical person.
Yeah.
But if you were in my shoes and everything was because for example, I've been, this was a couple of weeks ago, I was feeling some pains in my chest that I couldn't breathe. Just like some real bad chest pains. I'm like, nah, it's nothing. It was going on for 2-3 weeks, and I wasn't gonna say anything until the pastora was praying for me. She's like, you've been feeling some pains in your chest for the past couple of weeks, but you weren't gonna say anything, were you? And I'm like, no. So it's either God telling her, or she could be really, really lucky in all her guesses and when telling people. Because there's some prophecies that she's told me that could fit everybody. So for example, she's told me that you're gonna have your dream job and that you're gonna be financially stable. That fits everybody, you know what I mean? But she's told me some stuff that's only that I know, that's between me and God. And it's like either you got really lucky or God really did tell you. What do y'all think?
Oh, well, that's up to you.
No, but what do y'all think if y'all were in my shoes?
Well, me, I'm just skeptical. So I'd still question it.
Like even if you were going something personal, she came up to you like, "Hey, Abraham, you're going through this, and this." Exactly. Would you still be skeptical?
Yeah, skeptical.
Yeah.
I would be, because especially it depends what it is, because if it's something like in physical or obvious, then yeah, I mean, anybody could probably guess. But if it's something more, because it depends too, because I would take it with a grain of salt, because I already know my mom has told her a bunch of things.
Oh yeah.
That's true. Yeah.
And so I'd be skeptical in that sense. Now, if she just reads my mind, like, oh, okay, that'll be creepy, but also like, okay, like, what are you?
That'd be
Like-
weird because I don't even think anybody read anybody's mind. in the
But
Bible.
like by something that drastic.
Oh, okay.
I wouldn't see it as reading your mind. It's more like, I guess the only word that goes back to it is just prophesying. You know?
Well, it just makes you. I don't know. Only if she's. I don't know. There's only three things. It's God. She's in on it, or she's just getting lucky.
I mean, yes, I do have some doubt because obviously Mexican moms, they tell everybody they mama what's really going on. But then there's times where, like the thing with my chest, she's like, you weren't going to say anything, were you? She's like, you wanted to keep it private because you don't want to worry anybody, huh? And I'm like, that's literally my reason why I didn't want to say anything.
Mm.
Yeah.
Like, what do you do? What do you think, Rib?
Just falling asleep.
No, we're here.
Well, then you need to come up with the story next because you're falling asleep.
Well, it's because I can't really speak on this because no one's really ever given me a prophetic word.
In your many years of church life, no one's ever told you this is gonna happen. or-
Nothing where I remember.
Like we've had prophetic words, but it's all like you said. Like it could apply to anybody.
It's
Yeah.
general.
You're gonna be rich or stuff.
Yeah,
like that.
it was never specific.
Yeah. So that's why if I ever did,
Yeah.
it didn't matter because I would have
It was
remembered
more
it.
like a prayer over you that you hope that
Yeah.
things would turn out whatever. Because if it was prophetic, I would remember.
Oh, yeah. I would have remembered.
What about you, Manny? Have you had anything prophetic?
Two people, but the first one I don't think it happened. I think because we said more. Remember when I became told me to, because I told you about being the leader from the church, because I went to Gabriel's church down there, Robstown. I don't know why I said the name. I went down there once, and there was another guy that was there visiting. He was preaching, and he told me, "Yeah, you're gonna be this. You're gonna be the leader, and this and that." But it didn't happen naturally. I remember I think I told you, Joel, or you, or somebody else. And then I guess you had talked to our uncle. But it wasn't like a natural thing. Like, I didn't think that was correct at all. I didn't seem like, you know what I mean? And it's like another one where hermano came to visit. He said that I was going to be something where people were going to heal with my prayer. And I knew myself, and I was like, that can't be right. And then also, I found out later that he wasn't right himself at all. I think he had left his wife, or he was cheating on his wife. Or
So he's
something like
just throwing stuff at the wall, see what's stuck.
that. Yeah. But when he was telling it to me, I was like, no, it can't be. I know myself, and for God to use people, you gotta be really, like, you know what I mean? If he had said, God's gonna use you, but you gotta make sure, you know what I mean? Change your life, do this, do that. Then I can see that. But if you're just saying, God's gonna use you to do this and that without nothing, you know what I mean? It can't happen like that. I don't know.
Real quick, I want to go back to what you just said. You said he gave you some word, but then you found out he wasn't all right himself. So, does that mean, does our sin discredit the work we do in the church? Because
kind of like when if you find out the cops or the prosecutor collected evidence in bad faith, does they throw out the whole case?
not only that case, but all the cases.
All
they
the
worked
other
on.
cases that they worked.
Well,
Because the credibility comes into question whether
Uh-huh.
they did it to the other.
it's
Cases.
depend.
But let's play devil's advocate here. Let's say that hermano. Let's say he did leave his wife, blah blah blah, and he truly repented, and he was really giving you a word from God. But in the back of your mind was, oh, he did this, he did that.
So now I'm not going to believe the word
No,
he gave me.
yeah.
No,
So
because-
repentant or not of the sin, does it really ruin your credibility as a Christian or as a servant?
And that's the importance too of having the leadership that actually is like right with God, because you can.
Well, you can prophesy, that doesn't mean you're Christian either. Because remember at the end, it says when people go up to God and says, "But I prophesied, I healed people in your name, this and that," and God's gonna say, "I never knew you."
Yeah.
No, not only just prophecy. Let's say Manuel, for example. You know, you're the best worship leader. You know, you give all your time, money, effort to the church, and then we find out, you know, you're selling drugs there at Cowboys Dance Hall. Like, ay, el hermano. You know, all that work to everybody in that church is probably just discredited because of, you know, your sin.
Yeah.
Let's say you come back, you truly repented, and you do that same work again. They're not going to look at you the same because of the sin.
Yeah.
You know,
Well,
because in their eyes, you're
Tainted.
tainted. Yeah.
Well, it changes everything. Look what happened to David. He was never the same after what he did too.
Oh, yeah.
Look how he was so much and this and that. He did that, and then he lived pretty much being chased and all that. Like, he wasn't the same after. Like, you know what I mean? He was still with God and all that, but his
God
life
still
wasn't the
used
same.
him, but all his sons died. His sons betrayed him. They wanted to take his throne. He lost battles and stuff, and so he still suffered the consequences of his
Mhm.
sin, but still God still used him.
Yeah, like the kid died. Remember, he wanted him to survive his kid.
Yeah.
He died, and
Yeah.
a lot of things happened. He still got to be with the wife, and yet it's weird how that's the wife of Solomon that Jesus came through too. At the end of the day,
Yeah.
he still went through a rough time, but he still used that for a good cause. But it's it was a rough time.
So is there coming back from your sin? Like all those mega church pastors that cheated on their wife, they all took a break or a leave of absence, but I haven't seen any of them come back yet. Is there a coming back? Like,
I think
I
there
think
is
so.
there is a coming back. The issue is that mainline Christianity is that you need to be perfect and sinless to be even preaching to people. And the issue is that new believers see all this stuff and they think that you need to be perfect, and if they commit a sin or whatever, that means no one's going to believe you anymore because you didn't live up to what you were preaching. And so it sucks for new believers because they go in thinking, well, I mean, this guy, he fell from all the way from the top. Like, how am I going to make it?
so how much transparency should it be in the church as far as leadership? Because I believe the pastor should be held to a certain level of transparency. I don't need to know what they're doing on their daily life, but, if, for example, if they cheated on their wife or whatever, I personally would expect the pastor, like, hey, I did this, I messed up, I'm in the wrong.
Well, they should immediately step down from leadership.
So that's the pastor itself. Is there a reason of transparency, like let's say for the musicians or the worship leader or the prayer team, are they held to the same standard?
They should be, because they're front and center. They are the ones who usher in the Spirit.
Mm-hmm.
And so they have to be the ones, they're the Levites. Right? They the only one who could go into the tabernacle was the pure of heart priest. There's no other way that you can get in there. I mean, of course, that's Old Testament, but it still applies. The people who are serving have to be the most saved. Because look what Jesus did. He was he was the Son of God, and he was the one still serving, like washing the disciples' feet. So he showed that even the highest of people who serve have to show it and have to live by it, so that other people don't get affected if they do something wrong. It's hard too, because I mean, everybody's human, and you're probably gonna mess up. But
Well, remember, there's a verse on that in the Bible.
Yeah.
Where he goes, is it Paul talking to the people? He goes, abogados tienen para que, where he talks about, no pecáis, pero si uno está encontrado en pecado, animalo, or something like that, where he can get restored. You know what I mean? Because he goes, you never know, it might be you next time.
yeah,
Like help someone out.
Yeah, like you
Help
gotta
Or-
help him. Like he has to.
or no, instead of the sinner, don't like scorn the sinner. You have to lift them
judge
up and
them.
help them.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't judge them, because it could be you next and needs that
Well,
type of help.
Well, people say judge, but I think we gotta. The thing is, you can do that, but I think if you're free of no sin, if you're not doing that, you can help out a brother. Because people saying judge, but I think judge, people miscue it by saying judging. I think when you say judge, you're judging them, meaning that you want them to go to hell. You're already judging them.
Right.
As when you're just telling them, hey, brother, you're doing wrong. And people are going to say that, well, stop judging me. No, you're not judging you. I'm just telling
He's
you.
just telling you.
Yeah, other people were judging, like back then, remember they'll say, go to hell. Or they were judging because they were trying to kill him already.
Right.
Look at Mary Magdalene. That's already judging. So
Yeah.
you're the judge, so I already judged you, so you deserve to die. When, over here, you're just telling them to, brother, like, but God's also saying, don't be the person that you're worse than that person, and you're telling them. Remember when he
Yeah.
said you have a spigot and the other guy has a big log in his eye, and the guy with the log is telling the guy with the little speck.
No, it's vice versa. The guy with the splinter is telling the guy with the log, and he's like, take out the splinter out of your eye before you take out the log in mine.
Right.
Oh, okay.
So I think it's like criticism, right? You can critique somebody and like show them and guide them. Then there's judging. Then I think after judging, when you have that mindset of judging, you're quick to condemn them. And so when you condemn them, that means you already separated them from the group because of their sin.
Yeah, because judging is when Jesus confronted people with their sins.
Yeah.
And then somebody would be like, why are you judging me? but he's just confronting you. You know,
Right.
that's what you do when you preach. You preach the gospel. It's like we're all sinners. They're telling you, you think you're judging, but they're telling you what what you got to do to change.
Last topic,
know,
going
last-
back to what you said about the new Christians coming in. They're getting the wrong idea, stuff like that. Do y'all think churches are becoming more of a social club than a hospital for Christians? Because you go into a new church.
Yeah.
There's this one church we went to on Vance Jackson. I'm not gonna name that one, but you welcome in. You come in, welcome team, a nice foyer.
Yeah,
They got
but
coffee for you.
You have to pursue God,
Yeah, you got to pursue God and you got to love people. Yeah. But they have coffee for you. They have snacks. They tell you, thank you for being here. Everything's going to be great, blah, 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 which I get. It's part of the welcome culture in the church. But at what point does it become a social club than a hospital for the Christian? That's what the church really is a hospital for the Christian.
I think it sucks, but nowadays it has to be a social club so that you get people to go.
No, I think that's the problem. You want people to go, but you don't want them to change. That's why they never change.
Yes, and that's what I mean. Because you want people to come to your church, whether it be to give money or you just want people to go to your church, you have to make it appealing to them. And that's why a social club, because if you have things like coffee, you're gonna
Childcare is a big one. now.
childcare. You have a bunch of services and attractions to get people to come to
AC.
your church.
A building.
Oh, man.
A building, yeah. And they put on a concert too,
Mhm.
Yeah.
That's another topic.
because you want people to go. So yeah, it has to be. Unfortunately, these days it has to
Well, I
be.
don't think it has to.
Well, no,
you're
if
making-
you just want to attract people to come to your church.
Well, and then you're not saying it's just you're doing it just because you want to attract people. You're not
Yes.
doing it.
yes,
You're not doing it. It has to be. It's just you're just doing it because you.
right,
wanna-
and so those people still call it a church.
Oh, okay, because you made it sound it has to be. So I'm thinking you're saying
No, no, no.
no, it has to be like that to
no,
get
no,
people.
I'm not saying this. It's right to do that to get people because you want them to follow God. No, people are doing that and calling it Christian, and they just wanted it to be a social club, people to hang out and chill, and then they have all these services and that they offer to get you to stay.
Basically catering to the person.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so that you can give your tithe to them.
I don't think where we go is like that.
No, I don't. No, honestly, I think it's the opposite.
What you
from
see
it.
is what you get.
Yeah.
Oh, so like a cult.
Oh wow.
Black robes will be issued next week.
But you know what I mean? Like, why would somebody want to?
Because the extremes are social club or cult.
That's true. That is a very valid point.
Yeah.
Because it's like Democrats and Republicans. The extreme sides are always the ones getting the attention because they're crazy.
Hmm. Which is also ruining the name for Christianity.
Yeah. And so I think that's in the Christian world or whatever. The issue is that the extremes are you're either a cult or you just want people to hang out. This is I forget what it was called, but like when I was in high school, there was a bunch of kids that I had that were friends with me, and they would say, I would tell them I go to church, and they go, oh yeah, I go to church too. I go to this. I forget the name of the church, but
The Catholic one?
no. It was supposedly a Christian one, and
On Buena
the
Vista.
idea is that they would entice them to go to their church because they had like a skate park, an arcade room, and all that stuff, like everything that a kid would want to do. But before they could do all that, they had to go to church for like 30 minutes for like a devotional word,
So at that point, the kid or the adult, are they really going to feed themselves and nourishment from God, or are they going for the perks of it?
Right.
And then also too, at what point are the pastors responsible for that?
Yeah.
Like when they get to heaven, are they gonna face the repercussions of, hey, you made this into a social club?
They're gonna say, oh God, well I told them that they need to repent of their sins and follow you. They could use that excuse.
No, there's not going to be an excuse because God's going to know their heart. He's going to know if they're doing it for.
Okay, so what if their heart and their intentions is pure? They really want them to follow God and be saved, but they know that doing this would maybe attract them. And so they want to I know they're going to come because of the games, but maybe they can tug them more this way to being saved.
I believe that has a place in the church. I mean, the 1 year I did it at Colty Church, this program called Angel Tree, is where the inmates in prison, they submit their kids. You know, we take them presents to their house, stuff, blah blah blah, stuff like that. So the point of that program is, one, not only to minister to the family, but also like, hey, we come from this church, you know, you should come visit us. And I think 2 families did go end up visiting. They went for a couple times, but they never joined the church. So I get that. You know, the one thing I do remember about the church on Vance Jackson is when one of the pastors said that people want to see a sermon before they hear one.
That's true.
Because I could go to Manuel, let's say Manuel's a drug addict, I could tell him, hey, God this, God that, God this, God that. But he never really sees God in my life. He's like, no, hey, boys, I'll talk.
Yeah.
But if I go to Manuel, I bring him food, you know, I clothe him.
Yeah, like they'll know you by your fruits.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think that's different though. By helping them doing what God said to do to serve people, is different than just saying I'm gonna bring them with games and.
Well, maybe
all
that's
that
the hook
stuff.
that they need. You know what I mean? That's like look at her testimony, how she got involved with sound.
Joanna gave me candy.
She got candy.
Remember, y'all were at the table. I was like, oh, she's like, come get a candy. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, but that's something simple. I mean, like,
and she got candy, and she figured out her love for a ministry. You know?
Yeah.
It wasn't bad. It was just like,
Yeah, I'm just saying. I think
Candy.
that's something simple, but
No,
I'm
that's the
saying
hook.
when you're just hooking people, where you just gonna say, "Come to have fun" and this and that, when it should just be about God. You want your life changed. It's just, I don't know. Like I think when you say that and then you do little things like that, that's like even that candy. It's just like, you know what I mean? I could see that, but she's not saying, "Oh, come on, we're gonna play video games and all this and that, and then we can do this." You know what I mean? I don't know. It's just something simple that
Yeah.
that grabs you. I think when you're doing the whole thing where it revolves around that activity more than God.
Yeah.
and that's
It's
the
just-
issue.
Yeah, I don't know how to explain it. You know what I mean? Like that's something simple. Like even at church, like we'll go get food here and there. You know, we invite them. You're doing that. That's good. But you're not. I don't know how to say it. You're not making the other thing your number one. I don't know.
Yeah.
I can't explain it.
I get it.
Would you say that it's going to relate to this? Would you say that the purpose of a church is to bring new people and to save them?
I think of the church is to grow, but I think everybody is supposed to. Everybody has that commission to go out in the world. I think the church is supposed to be to unite, get together, praise God, and learn together and stuff like that. But I think
So you think the church is more of like building a discipleship so that they can go out? And
Yeah.
It should be
Yeah.
like that.
Okay.
to learn.
Because I was gonna say, if that's the point, then maybe they just want to get numbers of people to come instead of actually building them up. They just want people to come. Just come.
Because a lot
You're
also
gonna
has to
you're
do
gonna
with
give
it.
them a prosperity gospel.
Yeah.
Then tell them everything's gonna be great if you just serve God and you repent. And then after that, you just now you can go play because you did your deed. You're
Yeah.
like a Catholic church, right?
Yeah.
You come on Sunday, you do your prayer, you eat your cracker,
You kneel down a couple
You kneel
times.
down,
You're
say-
good for the week.
you're good. And so is that the same thing that they're doing? Where, all right, let me just tell you this word: God loves you, Jesus loves you. You're gonna go to heaven and you repent. Say the prayer, amen. Okay, go play.
Or go to an
Where at-
encuentro.
Right.
And go play.
Whereas in an actual
mirrors.
church, you're actually learning you're learning something practical that you can change or can use during the week to help you through your struggles in life. And then in that, you help other people because they see you.
And you're in the community too.
Yeah.
Like if you look at the early church, remember too, they were always together. That was one thing that's weird. Remember, everybody sold their houses to be together. Like they were all just trying to get, you know what I mean?
Cult.
No, it's not a cult. But remember, this is the Bible times.
Yeah. No, I get
It
that.
was different.
Yeah, and I think there's just something to when you see other people. I don't know. You just get this commodity when you see other hermanos. You know, you start seeing them as a family. You know, worshiping together and all that. I don't know. It's just
Yeah, because that's the people you'll hang out with the most because you'll be with them the most.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's where you'll build relationships, friendships, so they can just keep growing.
yeah, or help each other out. You know, one
Yeah.
person's needing this or another person needing that. You know, you got like a family type of thing.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the idea.
The one thing I do agree with my culty pastor that he said on Sundays the gospel should be preached, And on Wednesdays, it should be a message for the ones that are already believers. Because sometimes you have churches, explaining the theology of heaven on a Sunday, and new believer comes in, he's like, what the heck? That's the only thing I agreed
Yeah.
with him on, is like, Sunday is the gospel. God came, he died on the cross.
Yeah. Do you have any stories of supernatural situations?
At church or
At-
aliens?
At church?
Or
The
anywhere?
closest thing I remember when we were younger, Umberto had got us all together. He goes, we're gonna go somewhere. We're gonna go play some games and go eat some food, but first we're gonna go pray at church for an hour or something. So it was me, my brother, G, and M, Mike, his brother. We were all
You
there.
say their initial, but then you name them.
Yeah, but that's not his full name. I just said Mike.
Mhm.
We were there praying, and then out of a sudden, which we didn't feel anything weird. We thought it was our uncle in the back, but out of a sudden when we were praying, you heard all these noises in the back, and but we didn't even pay attention because we just thought, oh, our uncle's back there. And then at the end of the day, he went. He goes, no, he wasn't even there. I guess because he got like all like, but we were for real. I think we were actually praying. We weren't just like pretending. Like I felt like we were all praying, but we didn't feel scared either. It was just like, you just heard all this rumbling. We're like, what the heck? But like I said, we didn't pay attention until the end.
Yeah.
And he goes, I went back there, dude. There's nobody back there. And that's the only thing I can think of.
Would you ever live in a church?
We did live in a church when we were younger.
No, like actually live in the church building where the sanctuary is at.
We lived in the back of the church.
I wouldn't.
We slept in the church when we were kids. At that church.
Because I remember people living back there.
Yeah. I think that's when weird things used to happen. When we used to have people who live back there, and they weren't fully Christian too much. They were like half for half. I think that's when the weird things probably would happen. But now, nothing. Because we used to help out a lot of people. Like, would help. But, because and we lived back there too. And I remember when we were little kids, we'd go to what the craziest thing is? I wish I would have asked my dad this. My dad, he was never scared of anything. You know what my dad do? He would go to church at middle of the night. Sometimes like at 12. Dark, never turn on the light. Just walk in there and pray like for an hour, 2 hours, and come back out like nothing.
That's crazy.
Even at the house and all this and stuff. And I wish, like things like, there was questions like that I had. Me and my brother asked ourselves, I wish I would have asked him, what is your thought? Why are you like this? I don't understand. My dad was never scared of anything. He never had nothing. He was always praying, even at the house in the middle of the night by himself. He'll be like, I'm going to go to church. And sometimes like in the middle of the night, he'll go. And I know he never turned on the light or nothing. He'll just walk in there, pray, and walk out like nothing. Like weird. Like my dad was just like,
I'd be scared.
I don't know. He was never scared too. And sometimes when I remember I was scared, I was little, he would always be like, what are you scared of? You got God, pray. That's the thing. You got to start praying. And this and that. Like he would always like emphasize that, we believe in God, that's what you got to start praying and this and that. But my dad was like, it was just weird. I wish I would have asked him that. Why were you never scared of anything? Like, I never saw him when he was like scared, like, oh, or nothing like that. Like other people you hear, they'll get scared. My dad, never. He would go to places dark and this and that, like nothing. And he didn't, like, nothing fazed him. I just wish I would have known what, like, I wish I would have asked him that. But he was one of those guys that, like, especially at the end, that prayed like 3 times a night. You know what I mean? And that's just on the night. In the morning too, like when we were there, he'd have his praying time and all that like stuff. But even when we were young, when he was like whatever, he would always do that. That would just freak me out. I don't know why. I wish I would have asked him or known. But he was always just like really, I don't know. Like I wish I could be like that. You know what I mean? Just walk in the church like at middle of the night, nobody just open it. Go get into the altar, pray, then get out without even turning on the light.
Well, why do you think we have that fear?
I don't know. I don't know why we have it.
Is it like fear of ghosts, fear of the dark, fear of the time of day? Is it?
I don't know.
Mine's a dark.
But you know what I think about sometimes? When I feel like I'm going to get scared, I feel like when I feel like the dark's happening and I feel like if there's something there, and then something in my brain tells me, see, if the enemy's actually there and you see that, that means that God actually exists. So instead of making it think like, he's not the only one. If he's showing you that he exists, that means that God exists.
Yeah.
So why, you know what I mean? So there's somebody above him. He's showing you his hand. But, and that's something I think about, if he's there, and then for sure the Bible's for real and God's there. So God's actually stronger than him. You know what I mean? Things like that come into my mind. Because sometimes, like, if you get kind of like scared, you start thinking, I'm like, but if he shows that, he's doing all these things and you're seeing that this is supernatural, makes in your mind or your heart be like, okay, there is God then. Because sometimes, sometimes you question it, or sometimes you feel like we're just here alone on this earth and this and that. But then when you see that, it makes you kind of think like, oh, if this is supernatural here, God's got to be here. You know what I mean? Or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah, it's a good point.
Yeah, because sometimes I feel like I'll get scared, but I'm like, but if he's here and he's doing that, God is allowing him, that means that God's actually here. And God's allowing him to do that.
Yeah, you
So
can
God
say,
is actually
oh,
stronger.
Yeah, so God let you come over here.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Well,
things
my
like
grandma
that.
would tell me growing up, when I would hear stuff at the house growing up, it's been along for a while. She said that it would just be angels that are barely learning how to walk, so they would stumble and hit things.
Oh.
You get it?
Wow.
Like
She
let's
say
say a pan falls or something. She's like, es un ángel que apenas está caminando. So he's like stumbling and hitting things.
Why would God send baby angels?
I don't know.
to
But as a
protect
kid,
you?
you're gonna believe that. You're gonna hold. Well, really, as an adult, you're gonna hold on to whatever whatever takes your fear away. I'm not gonna lie, I still think that to this day.
You know what the craziest call though I got once? I used to talk to guys at work when I was at here at the lumber company, right? And I used to tell them about God. I gave the guy some Bibles. One time, this guy out of the blue, I think he hadn't worked there for a while already. Out of the blue, he calls me and he's like freaking out. He goes, "Man, I don't know what I did. I was talking about how I wanted money, this and that." And he goes, I guess he was somewhere out there. He goes, this man came. He goes, I don't know. He goes, just weird things started happening. He goes, it was like raining, but I wasn't getting wet. And then there was like a cow or like a bull that came and kind of started talking to me. And something like that. Like, no, he came out with all this and like he was scared. And he called me like out of the blue and I didn't know what to tell him. And he was like, what do I do? I think because I was saying I want the money or something about money or good. And he was saying, I'll give you all the money you want or whatever, this and that. And he goes, all these things were happening.
Was it a dream or is it something that happened?
He said, well, he was awake. No, he said it was in a dream.
If it was a cow, that'd be funny because the golden calf that they worship.
Cash cow.
Cash cow.
Yeah.
Look, cash cow, that too.
Damn. So yeah,
What's
that was
cash
just
cow?
weird.
It's like explain cash cow.
What's cash cow?
It's something that you use to bring you money.
Like what? What's an
Uh,
example?
Like, well, in literal, it's like you use the milk of the cow, and then at the end you use the meat. So it's what brings you cash. It's a cash cow.
Oh, okay.
So what are you using? Metaphorically, what is your cash cow? The thing you use to make money. So it's like a pimp using prostitutes. They're his cash cows
Or drugs.
or drugs. Yeah. Interesting.
Mm.
Anybody else have crazy? You have another crazy story?
Give it a couple of weeks. I'll have
Oh,
another
I
one.
was gonna ask you. Did this stuff start intensifying more when you started at this church, or has it been happening before?
It's been happening before, but every now and then,
Not as often.
not as like I'd see a shadow or two. I'm like, not a big deal. The picture thing, it's like, no. But then yes, like, it really did start intensifying when I started going to the church. Like,
So what does that mean? I don't know. Like, is that a good thing? I don't know.
Well, it's obviously a good thing because somebody's trying to stop you.
mm-hmm.
And if it was a bad thing, it would let you just keep going.
Yeah.
But because it's good and someone's trying to actually kill you, it's like, oh, okay. Someone doesn't want something to happen. It's usually because nobody would stop you if it was a good thing.
Yeah. And she did tell me this when she was praying for me. She's like, whoever's doing that in this house, they're going to start looking at you weird. Because in
Tell them.
in my heart, I was like, okay, Lord, if this is true, give me confirmation. I didn't tell her. I said it in my heart, or she can't hear. Maybe she can. Maybe she can. I don't know. But I'm like, Lord, give me confirmation. Like, give me, like, now, Lord. Like, and then she started telling me, she's like, whoever did this to you is going to start looking at you weird. Because the chains, whatever chains they put on you, they're starting to break, and it's not going to work anymore. And that will be your confirmation.
So who is it?
I don't know.
I have an idea.
I have an idea too,
I think we all know.
but it could be,
Tell them about him leaving.
Oh yeah, and as she was praying, she's like, this person's doing this, and this against you, But she's like, but don't worry, fear not, because that person will be leaving this house very soon. So I'm starting to think. Let's say it is him, right? Is he living with my aunt, without my aunt?
No, he's definitely taking her. That's his wife.
So this is why I haven't told my grandma any of this.
No, don't do it.
I've only told y'all and my mom.
Oh, what'd your mom say?
She's like, oh, just keep praying about it.
Damn it.
Because I'm not going to tell my grandma because she's going to start freaking out. She's going to tell Sandy. Sandy's a baby Christian. She's going to start freaking out.
Yeah.
So it's like, that's why I want to keep it under wraps. Whoever lives at that house. That way, if it is true, I will start seeing the signs of them looking at me weird. She's like, you're going to notice that they'll start staring you down, like giving you weird looks.
Maybe it's your cousin. It's either one of them two.
No, I think it's Oscar.
Because with Fran, I have nothing, really nothing. Like he does his thing.
No, I the only reason why I think it's because you're taking his wife, your aunt, to church with you guys.
Could be it.
That's pretty much it.
Another thing could
Because-
be the housing situation.
Where's he
but-
gonna go?
Boy, all he needs to do is sell that truck and he gets an apartment.
I know, right?
But anyways, I think it's that because I don't know. I think it's you that told me that it was the pastor's prophecy for her was, well, not even prophecy. It was
Oh yeah.
hey, you need to go to church because if not, this guy
This marriage isn't gonna work.
isn't gonna work.
Yeah.
That's true.
Mhm.
And she went straight to church.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is good.
So now with this, is when that person does leave the house, is it going to be with the family or without?
Oh, he's definitely taking the family. He's gonna take the family.
Because this is what she's starting to sound like, this is what the true word. So this is what she said, if it comes true, that they're going to start looking at me weird, giving me weird looks. And when that starts happening, everything's going to come to light and the whole family will know. So at that point, she would know. Is she going to go with the person that wanted her own nephew dead? Or is she going to say, no, like, this is where...
This is my man. I'm gonna stick with him.
Yeah,
Is
because it's her husband. She's gonna go with the husband, but she's gonna justify it.
All you gotta do is just pray about it.
Yeah.
It's something we don't want to do. Something we don't want to do. I don't want to do. But it's gonna pray and
But also, it's she has to be in it too, because
she
because
can't.
because the only reason why you're getting that prophecy from the pastor is because she's not in it all the way. She's going to church just to go because that's what the pastor told her to do, just to go to church.
No, I can speak for her on that point. There was times in her life where she would do this, go to church maybe 3-4 weeks in a row, and that's it. She was like a Catholic Christian. But she really is getting into the word,
She is.
like sometimes she texts me at 2 or 3 in the morning because that's when the little baby's asleep and that's when she can read the word. She asks me questions like, hey, what about this? Or what does this verse say? So I could tell she really is trying to get her personal life together with God.
Because she knows if she doesn't, her marriage is over.
Yeah.
And I mean, props to her. She wants to make the marriage work. The issue is that
Him.
I think, well,
Honest.
not because I think it's more of he's being influenced by somebody.
His mom.
His mom. The family works a lot with the Santa Muerte.
Oh yeah.
She was telling me that when they were in Mexico, the mom, the sisters, everybody, the whole family went to go do a card reading and like
Are you serious?
una sobada with the huevo. And they literally went to a bruja. And they said that before they entered they didn't go in. Sandy didn't go in. Sandy said Oscar didn't go in because he was scared. I'm like, eh. But before they went in, she said that there was this huge altar of the Santa Muerte. And the whole family was in there. So sometimes I think, like, hey, let's say it's not Oscar. Let's say it's
The mom.
the mom. But what does the mom have against me?
Or maybe the devil's using her.
Yeah,
could be.
it's not maybe
She's
specifically
possessed.
Yeah.
Quote unquote.
but whatever her influence is to him,
It's a big one.
I think it's more like a spell
Yeah.
that he is just going after whoever his spirit is telling him to go after. It's not specifically that he probably hates you or whatever. It's he's being.
I'm in the way of
Yeah.
whatever.
And he could use him because doesn't know God or doesn't have a relationship. It's easier to use him.
We'll see what happens in the next couple of weeks. Who gives me weird looks?
or it could be maybe by prayer and all that, it's gonna reveal. Maybe he'll reveal it and tell everybody. And I'm sorry, I've been
Maybe.
thinking, maybe he's gonna look at you weird, and then all of a sudden, maybe if everybody's praying, something would happen, and he'll be like, I want to apologize. Maybe I felt something in me telling me that I was wrong, and so it could be that too.
Yeah, that's the
Could
hope.
be.
That's the
But from
hope.
what Sandy tells me, that he purposely avoids the pastora. Like, there's a difference between like Abraham. Like, you don't want to see her because you're.
Well, no, not that I don't want to see her.
No, yeah, not that you don't want to see her, but it's just like if you don't see her, you don't see her. You're not actively running away from her.
Nah, I'm right here. Come
Yeah.
visit me.
Like,
He's
She
right.
wants
is.
to. I'm like, no thanks.
She wants to come visit you, so you tell me, I'll tell her. No, I'm kidding.
No.
But no, he
No,
actively.
she does. I'm like,
Yeah, she really does want to come see you.
no, the house. Remember she said it was like possessed. Or,
Oh, here?
yeah. I'm like,
I think it's Sal that's possessed.
Yeah,
I think so. I
He's
don't feel
gone, so
nothing.
it's clear.
it's clear. Yeah.
For
I can
real?
see clear. Oh,
No, dude, for real. Like,
your uncle.
I noticed, like, I walked into that room the other day, and even the energy in that room is different. So it probably was him. But she tells me that he actively avoids her because she hasn't told this. He hasn't told this to her, but we think it's because he's afraid that the pastora is gonna tell him everything he's doing wrong,
Call him
Yeah.
out.
call him out on all his sins, and if he really is doing the brujeria stuff, he will get called out at that very moment.
And she will do it.
Oh, yeah.
So we're trying to parent trap him.
How? What do you do?
So, remember Dominique's mom story when they did a dinner and the pastora just randomly showed up? That is what we're trying to do.
In the evening, like, bring pastora?
Yes. Like, have maybe on a carne asada on Monday or something.
He's going to go straight upstairs, bro. That's what he does. Like, on a regular night.
Yeah.
Well, because he says he has to go to sleep and stuff, but...
That's what we're going to try. As soon as he's there, like, hey, Bravo 6, breach the door.
Yeah,
go in.
but that could go wrong, too.
Yeah.
It could go wrong, but,
Because it feels like you're doing an intervention.
I mean, it's not an intervention, but
And, like, you trapped them.
no, it wouldn't be entrapment because the pastora, they would be just going just for dinner, right? Now, if he runs away and goes upstairs, we're not going to chase him.
Oh, I see. Okay.
You know what I mean? If he stays there, then, things are going down. Hide your wife, hide your kids, hide your dogs. It's going down.
Oh, she might start a revolution there in the West Side.
Who
Yeah.
said that? Sandy?
Me and Sandy. 'Cause-
Really?
yeah.
Oh, Sandy.
Because we were like,
She's trying.
because we were like, she wants her to go pray for him. Obviously, it's her husband. You know.
Yeah.
So I told her, I'm like, hey, why don't we just parent trap him? She's like, I need to find the perfect day to do it. So she's down to parent trap him,
I mean, she's trying everything she can to save this marriage.
literally.
Yeah.
So,
I
which is
think,
good.
I think he's a big component in that.
Oh,
if
yeah.
You, if you can get him, it's pretty much.
Yeah.
Because what she tells me is that he's met them, right? He's not like, I don't want to. He's cordial. He's nice. He says his highs and byes, but it's never been the right moment for her to call him out.
It's not his time yet.
It's time yet. So that's why we need to parent trap him. So it could be his time.
And if it's not, it's not.
And I will be there when he gets called out.
That's when he's gonna give you the look.
The look,
Bro, you gotta record it.
I know.
Like, for real.
Put on my.
Gonna be like the
GoPro.
Blair Witch Project.
Oh, don't say that. I rebuke it.
Nah, he'll be alright.
So yeah.
I think, man, I don't think he's a bad guy.
He really is not.
I think he's just being influenced.
Oh, yeah.
I really think he really wants to make it work. He really doesn't want to be the guy who's in the middle trying to mess up everything. I think it might work because I think it might be like, someone save me,
Because I'll tell you this, but before he moved in out of the blue, he was a really cool guy. He treated his dogs well, his family. He was, at that point in Sandy's eyes, the perfect husband. He moved in, a switch flipped.
It's the house.
Probably. Honestly, it could be the house too. Sandy's room has had a lot of bad vibes.
And they live upstairs.
They live upstairs.
The haunted part of the
most
house.
haunted part.
I think it's a good thing that they move out.
I don't go upstairs. My grandma don't go upstairs. We have this. It's a healthy fear upstairs because literally as soon as you go up, it's this heaviness, coldness that's like, oh my god.
I need to go up there. I've never been up
No,
there.
I'm
No,
not,
I just want to.
I'm not gonna let you go up there.
Why not?
No, it's
You're gonna get possessed.
I don't feel nothing here, and apparently there's stuff here.
no. That's That's the worst part. If you don't feel it, it's like that boiling the frog story I always tell you. You're not gonna feel it.
It doesn't Sandy say that she sees things too?
Yeah.
She sees things too.
Like one time,
The kid probably does too, right?
Yeah, because he's always like.
He's always like, or something running.
Yeah, she told me that one time when Oscar first moved in, when they were starting to first have problems, that they had the door open. First mistake. You always close your door because the spirits can't get through doors.
Oh, well.
So first was she left the door open, and so her bed, so that's the wall, right? That's the bed, and let's say the door is right where that hallway at. So she's facing the hallway, and she sees a shadow stand at the door for a couple seconds and then just vanish away. Now, if that doesn't make you want to run out of the house,
Did she?
No, she's still there.
no?
Oh no, I thought she like literally ran out.
No. What she told me is that she felt like she couldn't move, like 'cause she was so shocked in fear.
I get that.
But my thing is, why is everything happening upstairs? Like that has to be the epicenter of everything. That has to be.
Was it like that before he came in?
I mean, it obviously. Yeah, I mean, the house has been haunted for a long time. It wasn't. It wasn't that bad. Yeah, you'd hear footsteps every now and then, but that's nothing. But to the point where they've been seeing stuff like that and occurrences like that for that they're getting stronger ever since he moved in. There has to be. That has to be the epicenter.
Yeah.
So if y'all ever want to spend the night at my house, I have an open room upstairs.
Would you ever stay at a haunted house?
Nah, I'm alright.
Heck no.
There's one on Roberts and Sarsamora.
I'd rather stay at the bar in the corner.
Honestly,
Robertson starts someone?
yeah.
Popular in Sarsamora.
Oh, Popular?
Yeah. Literally that corner, there's the street next to it. It's a dead end street.
Oh, I know through there. The bus passes through there, right?
Mm-hmm.
Popular, I'm gonna check
That's
it
the
out.
hood.
And the craziest part is we're neighbors with two churches. That's the craziest part.
That's probably why he's still there.
Honestly,
They're keeping you together.
literally.
It's kind of like when in the Bible when they were passing when the
They threw the blood over the
Israelites-
door.
no when the Israelites were defeated and they took the Ark of the Covenant and then they were passing it around and the king didn't want it because there was bad things happening to his family, whatever. So he gave it to somebody else, and his house started being blessed, and then they moved it again. And whoever had it was being blessed,
Yeah.
but it's only because you had the ark there. So I think like those two churches is the ark that's
keeping it together.
Keeping it together. What do you think? It's a stretch, but
I mean, I get that point because, y'all know I live in a very, very, very bad neighborhood.
Yes.
Thank
I
God
deliver mail there.
no one has tried to break in. No one's tried to
because
do
they know they're
anything.
gonna be shot.
Well, yeah, they'll meet Mr. Hollow Point. But even before we had guns in the house, nobody, mind you, there's been a couple homicides on that street, but,
Yeah.
nothing major to us.
Yeah. What do you think, man?
Final thoughts.
It's new to me.
Ooh.
Just keep getting crazier and crazier.
Wait till episode 5, see what happens.
Dun dun.
I'm busy that day.
No, you're not. We'll go to your house. The FUD
Yeah,
report is mobile.
Yeah, we have to go to we'll go to your house on next Sunday. We'll do a podcast there.
Yeah.
So you won't have to travel.
Oh, he's
What had
like
to-
2 minutes away.
We'll have to do it in the music room.
Yeah, that's fine.
That's fine.
Okay, I'll squeeze in there. I'll be fine with that.
The FUD report goes on a road trip. to
2
Magno's
minutes
house. Hey, that's a start.
No, probably 3.
We're all the way here at Ansley.
Traveled far.
AKA technically your old house
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
a long time ago.
And if y'all want after that, we can do the podcast upstairs at my house.
In the haunted house.
In a haunted house.
Heck,
Nah, I'm busy that day.
No, you're not.
I'm busy.
I check my
I don't
schedule.
know what I'm doing, but I'll be busy.
I don't know what day it is, but I'm busy.
Yeah, like this musician that I used to play with at church, Tony.
Mm-hmm.
For anything, hey, Tony, you think you can help me out with this? He's like, yeah. Let me get back to you on that. He would never get back to you on that.
Smart.
And I'm like, hey, Tony, you never got back to me on that. He's like, yeah. Let me see when I'll get back to you on that.
He's one of your groomsmen.
Yeah, he's standing in my
You'll meet
way.
him.
Wow.
He's cool.
T-Tone.
Is there anything else I want to talk about? So now if I
Besides,
see
German Shepherds are the best dog breed ever.
For the
Oh,
next
wow.
episode.
Boxer.
Boxers with a tail are the best.
Shut up.
Damn.
They look weird. Mom said they look like ratas. With their long tail.
They busted all.
R.I.P.
Well, all right. Oh yeah, photo report.
The sky
Oh.
was blue today. That's nice.
It was hot.
About time.
Well, that concludes the photo.
Oh yeah. You know what really grinds my gears?
Gears.
Anyone annoy you at work?
Annoy me?
Passengers. Ugh.
Passengers, yeah. When I was on the bus.
Abraham? I mean, the bus, the people. I thought you loved the bus. I remember once he said he would never leave it. I'm like,
Really?
are you sure?
I said that?
Yeah. I even said one
Must
time
have
I'm
been
They
like,
some
like
other
crack
guy.
or something.
I'm like, well, even if you win the lottery, he goes, yeah, I wouldn't mind. You know, it seems pretty nice.
Oh no, I said I would keep working.
No, but yes, it was that time you were in the buses and you're
Well,
like,
yeah, I
oh,
mean, I would keep working whatever job I had.
yeah, but I'm like, I wouldn't do the bus. I would have done something else.
Oh yeah,
But
I
you were
would have
like,
done. Yeah, I would have done. I would do some. I would still work, but I
Part-time
do
somewhere?
something that I would want to.
like-
No, but the thing is, you kept saying that you would still do the bus. That's the thing that got me. I'm like,
No,
I don't mind. I understand working, but why would you want to still work in a bus?
no. No, I don't think I said that. I think
Yeah,
Get
that's
twisted.
I said
No, I
that
remember.
I would work. I would continue to work until I found something that I wanted to do, but I would still keep working.
It sounded because to me it sounded like you said you still wanted to do bus, and I was
No,
like, I don't know.
I know I didn't want to do it. When I started school, I know I didn't want to do it forever. So I knew I was going to get out. I just wanted to do something I wanted to do. But no, I don't really get annoyed at work. I really like what I do. The top guy, the CTO guy, the Chief Technology Officer, he's a guy that, he goes to a Catholic church. He plays guitar too.
Yeah, the guy you were telling me
Yeah,
with all the strings.
yeah. And he came by and he saw me like, hey, I thought you accepted the job already. When are you getting moved to the other department? Like, I don't know. They're still trying to figure that out. But he came down and congratulated me. And I remember like a year before when he was downstairs with us because they were still constructing the building. I talked to him because I asked him like what path I should take to get to like the IT security. And I remember him telling me, man, just put in your year, get to know people, learn a bunch of stuff, and we'll see what we can do to get you into that department. And a year later, there you go. So that was pretty cool. But yeah, hopefully move by the beginning of next month. And now they're having like a bunch of not conferences, but like meetings every week for each different IT department to see if whether that would interest you. And they will show you like the path to take and the things to learn to be able to get into that department. So I think it's pretty cool.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Get me in.
They already interviewed like
My
two
feet
people.
hurt. I'm so dark.
But yeah. Well, that's pretty much it, man. Any last words?
No.
JP?
Love God, love people. That's all I gotta say.
Wow.
No, what was it? Pursue God, pursue people.
I heard a podcast. The podcast I'm listening to, The Basement. They talk about that. I'll show y'all later.
Oh, that's a good podcast. The Basement.
It is, right?
Jim Ross.
Yeah. Yes, listen to it.
I first saw him in Transformation Church.
Ew.
Yeah, a bunch of haters. Bro.
I like him. I like Transformation.
Y'all didn't see the video then.
Yeah, talking about that guy again
Yeah.
with the video.
Mike
You
Todd
haven't
in his
seen
church.
I haven't
no,
seen
no,
it.
No, not him. We're talking about.
I
I
guess
said that I said a guest pastor that from that podcast.
he has a
I saw him
podcast.
first in that church.
Okay.
Yeah, as a guest.
Yeah, he frequently goes to that church to preach.
Yeah.
Or for the money.
No, I'm telling you, you
No,
should listen to
he
it.
doesn't get paid to go to.
No.
Well, I mean, I don't know. I don't.
That's what they
all
say,
I
but
can
then
see.
they're buying their new cars every week.
Calm down, bro.
Yeah, listen to Paul Washer. That's kind of tough.
Yeah, but I guess I don't mean him. But there's also a bunch of other pastors or Christian leaders who judge other pastors, and maybe they're right or maybe they're wrong, whatever. But like YouTube gives people that platform to do that now, so anybody can criticize anybody for anything.
Well, I think you just gotta listen to the merits. If he's saying the truth, it's one thing. If he's not one, then I'll be like,
Yeah.
okay, you're not.
And also I think
Well, because you do gotta watch out. Peter did say, or Paul said, watch out for, because at the end of the day, they're gonna be like, like wolves, not caring who they tear apart. So maybe that's why they're. Sometimes it's kind of hard. Like I haven't listened to him too much, but the ones I listen to him, like it kind of like it's one of those things that digs at you. You're like, oh man, like he's right, but you're like, I don't want to, I don't want to hear it.
Yeah.
Something like that. But that's what we need. But I don't know the rest, so I'm not gonna pretend. There's like kind of some old preachings that I've heard of him that were pretty good. So
From who?
from Paul Washer.
Oh.
But I haven't heard him lately. I hear it says the other guy, DTBM or something like that. He's kind of bald with glasses. The white guy. He's pretty interesting.
I don't really listen to many preachers on YouTube.
They're pretty good.
Sinner.
I know.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
gotta listen to. Or like I said, Chuli Varez, Hermano Armando. I listen to him a lot. Out of all of them, I think I listen to Hermano Armando a lot. He's really interesting. He talks about like the stuff of the world that's gonna happen and all that. This guy, that bald guy,
I've never heard of.
but he's pretty good. He always has a lot of preaching and stuff. Like he has a lot of videos. He does classes. I think he's like a teacher too for other people. Like, cause sometimes he has like a classroom for other people around the world. And cause he's grading them, he goes, "This is gonna be on your test and this and that." So,
Okay.
so stuff like that.
Oh yeah.
Well, thank you so much for joining us again for another episode of Church Culture, which I probably think that's the official name now,
This point.
because we've been saying it forever. Thank you to Manny for making it out here.
We know we
The
had a
whole
long
2
journey.
minutes. And, yeah, so we're recording this early because, well, I mean, it doesn't even matter. They're going to come out.
It doesn't matter.
But, yeah,
Might
join
come out.
us. What?
Might come out. You know?
I mean, yeah, it's coming out, but they're not going to know that we're recording it early. But, yeah, I mean, yeah, I have nothing else to say.
Peace out.
Peace out, everybody. God bless.
God bless America.
God bless
Watch out for
America.
ghosts.
Donald Trump
If you see a
2024.
shadow, run.
Run away.
All right.
And pray.